You are now listening to
the Primal Armor Podcast.
This episode is sponsored by Executive Fit LLC. They build custom deadlift platforms, custom barbell storage pieces, and make indoor and outdoor signage for your home or corporate gym. Every platform that pairs with a rack is customized to that specific rack, so everything fits nice and clean. And they ship nationwide. Each platform has a logo applied in a way that makes it impossible to peel up from wear and tear. They even make custom nameplates for your squat rack. Visit executivefitllc.com to request a quote and see what's available on their store. That's executivefitllc.com to upgrade your deadlift game today. Welcome back to episode 95 of the Primal Armor Podcast. Last week we covered the topic of saunas and how beneficial they are as a tool for your health and for your recovery. And that's something we slack on so much these days. It's our recovery. People hear all about cool down stretches, mobility, massage guns, saunas, foam rolling, and then they try to skip it at all costs. Well, they don't think they have the time in their day to focus on that on top of finding time for their workout. But neglecting your recovery can give you some very adverse effects to your health. And that's why today we're going to be talking a little bit more in depth about DOMS and rhabdomyolysis. DOMS is short for delayed onset muscle soreness, and this is also known as muscle fever. This is a super painful feeling you get about a day or two after you get done with a very intense workout. And most people get this after a very long period of time of not working out, or especially if it's one of the first workouts you've ever done. The body just isn't accustomed to that type of intensity or volume, and the pain is from the muscle damage that occurred. To give a little bit of a background, that's how hypertrophy happens, or how you grow your muscles bigger. You make micro tears in your muscles while you're lifting, and then you repair those tears by eating enough protein, and it helps fill in those tears and it helps your muscles grow. But sometimes you can overdo it, and that's why it's extra painful the day or two after a workout. It's a total misconception that you have to be sore to get bigger and stronger. These are tiny micro tears in the muscle. They're so tiny that you don't need to be feeling it to be able to get a benefit out of your workout. But some people still choose to pound themselves on the ground workout after workout. And this is actually detrimental to your muscles because you're not getting enough recovery. And you won't be able to get a beneficial enough workout for days since you've been so sore. So beating yourself like that is just not good for the body. And let me repeat that. You don't need to experience DOMS to be bigger or stronger. And you can take it even further than DOMS though. And it's something called rhabdomyolysis, or rhabdo for short. This is something that's very, very serious. And it goes from just being in an improper recovery to a medical condition that can even be fatal. What rhabdo really is where you break down your muscles so much after a workout that the fibers start to separate from the muscle heads themselves. And these fibers enter your circulatory system and eventually reach your kidneys. And your kidneys aren't equipped to filter muscle fibers or even break them down, and it causes kidney damage. And it can even lead to kidney failure if it's overtaxed with so many muscle fibers. And it also makes you feel very, very sick. Not only will you have excruciating pain, you also feel very weak, dehydrated, and even nauseous. It can kind of mimic the symptoms from food poisoning or the flu. But it's way more serious than that. I had the unfortunate opportunity to experience this firsthand. I was deep in my CrossFit days and doing multiple workouts a day. And I was obsessed with my body image and doing anything I could to be as lean as I could and to look good in the mirror. I've always had a notoriously weak core when it comes to core-specific exercises. I can brace well under really heavy weight, but anything that requires muscular endurance in the core is something that I've always hated and I've always struggled with. On this particular day, I was doing multiple workouts with GHD sit-ups in it. And if you've never done one of those before, it just puts you in an extreme lengthened position of your abs, help elicit bigger and stronger abs in the long run. The problem was, my body wasn't equipped to handle the volume I was doing, and in the range of motion that I was doing. So instead of training my core muscles, I was literally ripping them with each rep. And I didn't know this at the time. I woke up the next morning and I literally couldn't even sit up in bed. I was in excruciating pain, specifically on my left side of my core, and I felt very weak and nauseous. And I was so worried that I skipped my class that day, and I got an appointment with the campus health services to see if they could do anything to help me. I gave them a quick rundown about how I felt and how it was targeted into this one specific area in my core. The doctor said that it was either A, my spleen was about to rupture, or B, it could possibly be non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. because of my abdomen swelling and my pain, and as well as all the other symptoms that I had, because it mimics what you have when you have that type of cancer. So I just went from being a really competitive and healthy athlete to now thinking about that I have cancer. And that really ruined me. I decided to come back home and go to my local hospital to get more tests ran. And it was at this time I started peeing a really dark color that looked kind of like Coca-Cola. And this is another side effect of rhabdo, because that's literally your body trying to excrete those muscle fibers. I relayed that to the hospital when I got there, and they started running more labs, urine tests, and other scans, and they finally concluded that I had rhabdo. I was just relieved beyond belief that it wasn't cancer. But now I had to pay thousands of dollars in hospital bills. I probably lost a few years off my life due to the stress of everything. And then I had to stay in the hospital for monitoring and fluids, all because I was working out so hard and I didn't care one bit about recovery. That was about the same time in my life where I realized that I didn't need to be doing multiple workouts in a day, and I needed to focus on rest and recovery and stretching when I could. And I learned that you didn't always need to be sore to get bigger and stronger. And while there are still workouts and days where I'm sore the next day or two later, I really learned where my limit is so I don't experience anything like that ever again. DOMS can really suck when you're having trouble sitting down or standing up, but it's no joke when it comes to overdoing it and literally losing muscle fibers, damaging your kidneys, or putting yourself out for the count for an extended period of time. I just wanted to educate you guys on the importance of recovery and that you, once again, don't need to be sore to get an effective workout in. The more you focus on rest and recovery, the better your next workout's going to be. And then the better your next workout is, the bigger and stronger that you're going to be. So while most people don't want to accept the fact that slowing down and being more methodical can actually be more beneficial than being a brute in the gym, sometimes it takes a little bit of humbling to figure that out. And that's something that a potential cancer scare did to me. Don't learn it the hard way like I did. Listen to what I've said multiple times in this episode so far. You don't have to be sore to be bigger and stronger. You just have to train and recover smarter. I just want to thank you for listening to today's podcast, and we'll see you back here again next week.